As a viewer and a big fan of Amphibia, there's a lot of things to love about the show, like the comedy, the overarching plot, and the important moral of the show. But in my opinion, I think the strongest attribute of Amphibia is its characters. The characters do form the basis of the show in a way. With Amphibia, nearly all of them have at least one amazing quality that makes me appreciate them. For characters like Anne, Marcy, Andreas, and so on, that's a fairly obvious point. But unlike with other shows I watched, I genuinely grew to like and appreciate the side characters too. However, as great as the Amphibia characters are, most of them are pretty much overshadowed by the main cast of characters. Among these overshadowed characters is my favorite frog character, besides the planters at least, Wally Ribbiton. On the surface, there is a lot to like about Wally. He is an excellent source of comic relief. His personality is colorful. Also, he provides some of the best dialogue in the entire show in my opinion.
Come on, Wally needs a new pair of shoes. What? This is larceny. I want my money back. Took me hand clean off it did.
You have both your hands, Wally.
Oh, Lefty, when'd you get back? And the way I see it, you've got a great opportunity in front of you. Whole new world, new people, free to be whatever you want.
That's kinda genius, Wally.
Yup.
However, there is more to Wally than just his surface level appearance and comedic gags. The one major aspect that I like about Wally the most, and it's the aspect that makes me think he's underrated, is his impact on the show's overarching story. While nearly every character of Amphibia, major and minor, had some role in the show's plot, out of all of the side characters, Wally played the biggest role. A lot of the actions that he made directly led to major plot points in the show. The most obvious example of this is in Reunion, where Wally planted boom shrooms all over Toad Tower, causing it to collapse. By doing this, he inadvertently prevented Grime from killing Hop Pop, turned Grime into a fugitive, and separated Anne and Sasha in one of the most heartbreaking scenes of the show. In other words, Wally blowing up Toad Tower defined the role of Sasha and Grime in Season 2 since the two sought revenge and desires for world domination, and we all know how that turned out. However, the area where Wally had the biggest impact in the story wasn't Anne's character development. Out of all the residents in Wardwood, it's safe to say that he is the closest friend to Anne, aside from Sprig and the Planters. There is a clear reason for that. Apart from maybe King Andreas, whom I'll talk about more in a bit, Wally is the amphibian that parallels Anne the closest. Both characters are considered oddballs in Wardwood, both are very kind and goofy, both only wear one shoe, and on the left foot mind you. Most importantly, both have the need to accept themselves for who they are. The key difference between Wally and Anne is that Wally has already accepted who he is by the time we meet him. Sure, his family did not accept him for who he is, but thanks to the push from Anne, he was able to convince them, thus completing his short but important character arc. Why is this important? It's because Wally and his story laid a clear path for Anne's character growth in Season 2 and Season 3. Starting from Wally and Anne learns to let go of what others think of her, like what Wally did. In Reunion, Anne learns to stand up for herself and the people of Wardwood, who she has grown to care for. By the episode Bessie and Michelangelo in Season 2, Anne had grown to fully accept her identity like Wally did in Season 1. In the first half of Season 3, Anne tries to make her family accept her for who she is, in which she succeeds by the mid-season finale, where Anne's parents acknowledge how much she has changed since her time in Amphibia. Again, this kind of mirrors how Wally's father was able to accept him in the end of Swamp and Sensibility. When we view Wally with all of this in mind, it kind of makes more sense now as to why he is the first character we see and hear when we watch the show for the first time. Simply put, the reason why I think Wally is such an underrated character is because no one truly grasps how important he is to the story. Not only did he directly set certain parts of the story in motion, he was a key element to the development of the protagonist of the story. If I still haven't convinced you why you should take Wally more seriously, consider this final thought. I've mentioned in the past how King Andreas was basically Anne who went on a dark path which ultimately led him to become one of the main antagonists of the show. If Andreas is Anne's foil in this story, Wally is kind of the polar opposite. He is the idealized version of Anne, a person who does not care about what others think about them and is willing to live a life that satisfies them, even if it ain't much on the surface. He's the character that Anne wanted to be, and she did eventually become that in some way. Anne may not be living out in a lavish lifestyle by the end of the series, but she's happy with what she is doing. In the end, that's what really matters to her. If she's happy for who she is and what she does, then who are we to judge? But those are just my thoughts. Do you agree with me that Wally is the most underrated character of Amphibia? Or does another character deserve more recognition than him? Comment what you think down below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, consider giving it the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Anyways, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I hope you all have a great day. See you in the next one.